Did you hear about Blake Lively and her dragon? Perez Hilton here, and there has been a lot of chatter today about Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds.
Did I hear that Taylor may have had some influence in getting
Yes, she did. Yeah, I know. I don't even know if I'm meant to be saying it, but I'm saying it. Yeah, she was a helpful part of the process of the audition, which I found out later after I got it, and that rocked my world. I have no words.
A lot of evidence here that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift were very, very close at the time that all this went down with Justin Baldoni. Beyond the text message, like a lot of things they were doing was very Taylor Swifty, dropping the Easter egg.
So it seems like Taylor Swift's efforts to avoid drama failed badly because she started making headlines with her best pals Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for all the wrong reasons. And word on the street is that the situation is about to get even uglier. Taylor landed in the middle of the legal mess when Justin Baldoni revealed that Blake had used her to intimidate him. And once Taylor saw the PR crisis heading her way after that information surfaced, she tried to distance herself from Blake while denying that she played any part in the situation. But Justin isn't letting her escape easily because he is exposing everything, including a so-called freak-off tape involving Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, and Ryan Reynolds. Now everyone is wondering what Justin actually said, whether Taylor truly masterminded the entire situation, and if she is stepping back from Blake in an attempt to protect her own reputation. More importantly, people want to know whether the freak-off tape is even real. So let's find out.
He was involved during this time heavily with Ryan Reynolds and with Blake Lively, and for that reason, my friend, I am sorry, but you have to be subpoenaed.
So ever since Blake landed herself in legal trouble with her co-star, her best pal Taylor Swift has been AWOL, and according to reports, Taylor is taking a step back from her friendship with Blake because she feels like she was used as an intimidation tactic in a lawsuit she never wanted to be involved in the first place. Yet there is just one problem, which is that she was very much involved in the entire mess according to Justin's $400 million lawsuit in which Blake had one of her megastar friends meet him along with her husband to push him into accepting Blake's script rewrites, a friend many fans believe was Taylor, and the rewrites focused on a pivotal rooftop scene in particular, and while Justin did not agree with Blake's version, he was ultimately forced to go through with it by Blake and her friend, aka Taylor, with the text messages in the lawsuit backing up his claims because court documents explain that the draft of the rooftop scene Lively sent Baldoni dramatically differed from what had been written originally, and Baldoni was hesitant about many of the changes, but thanked Lively for her passion and diplomatically told her the scene would likely end up being something between the original version and her version. And the lawsuit continues by saying that seemingly stung by Baldoni's mild resistance, Lively went silent for days and later confirmed in a message that his response did not feel great for her or another mega celebrity friend and Ryan Reynolds to have her passion praised instead of her specific contributions, and Lively was referring to an earlier meeting where she summoned Baldoni to her New York penthouse, where he was greeted by Ryan, who began enthusiastically praising her version of the scene, and then as the meeting was ending, a famously close friend of both Reynolds and Lively walked in and also praised Lively's script, and Baldoni instantly understood the subtext that he needed to comply with Lively's direction for the script, and afterward he felt obligated to text her saying he liked her pages and had not needed Ryan and her megastar friend to pressure him, and the attached text from Blake said that as for Redacted and Ryan and Redacted, she felt like the luckiest person alive to have them as her dance mom level stage moms who were embarrassingly effusive, but also her most trusted creative partners. And she said that when they loved and signed off on the pages, she felt good about sending them, and they even asked what he thought after checking in many times, and she told them he laughed and said it was probably a blend but appreciated her passion, and she wrote that both Ryan and Redacted had established themselves as titans as writers and storytellers beyond their main gigs, and she felt lucky to have them as creative barometers. But the real kicker was the message where she said that if he ever watched Game of Thrones, he would appreciate that she was Khaleesi and had a few dragons for better. Or worse, though usually for better because her dragons protected those she fought for, and she said everyone benefited from her monsters, including him. And while Blake might have intended the comparison harmlessly, Taylor did not approve and had never planned to be at the supposed intervention, and when she arrived at Blake's penthouse, she was shocked to find the conversation still happening. So Taylor is taking a timeout according to insiders because she does not want to get tangled in this any more than she already has, which is far more than she ever needed to be. And her friends also think that Blake's Khaleesi and dragon message was unnecessary and uncool because Taylor was used as an intimidation tactic and referred to like some kind of pet or possession. And Taylor should not have been involved at all since she was only visiting Blake and Ryan believing the meeting would be over. While another source said Taylor has politely backed away because she is very conscious of her image and hates that she was even mentioned, and she cannot understand why she was dragged in since she is proud that her music appeared in the film but had no major involvement in the project's developments, and she finds the claims confusing because her connection to Blake is pure friendship with zero intention of influencing Blake's work. And regarding the meeting, the source said she finds Justin's interpretation perplexing, and those close to her believe she is being dragged in as a way to target Blake. And this was the first time Taylor had ever met Justin and had no idea who he was and was simply being polite as she always is. But now, even though she wants to avoid drama, fans are not letting her.
I just know how friends are when girls chat. I don't think she just walked in there and said, hey, I love her script changes. That doesn't sound right to me. So backing away from it now feels a little shady. I'm not saying I'm blaming Taylor Swift for everything. I'm just saying that I don't buy that she didn't know he was going to be there. You either read the script or you didn't. But I do probably buy that she was a little embarrassed about that text message referring to her as a dragon because it is bullying. And she has very carefully crafted her brand and making people believe that she doesn't engage in that. But I actually think she does, a lot. And people can't defend themselves against whatever narrative she puts out with her Easter eggs. I think men are scared to stand up and say that actually didn't happen.
Most folks think she is taking the easy way out, with one person commenting that this is clearly damage control on Taylor Swift's part and that her decision to announce her separation from Blake Lively is too late because she will still be held accountable for her involvement in this saga, saying the rats are jumping this sinking ship. While another person commented that the new Candace episode is crazy because Taylor apparently had the original composer fired simply because she didn't like him, which makes it seem like she was far more involved in the takeover than just being a friend. And they added that they feel bad for the guy since so many people colluded to steal his movie, and that it even looks like Colleen and Blake were trying to steal the sequel too, because when a reporter asked about it, Blake said she would do the sequel if Colleen could get her rights, and Colleen didn't seem surprised, meaning they had been trying to take Justin's rights to the next film since at least August. And for context, Candace Owens covered the entire situation involving Blake and Taylor on her show and pointed out that Taylor seemed far more involved in the movie than fans believed, even receiving credits at the end of the film.
We'll tell you guys, yesterday we did this episode. Obviously, you saw it. I just was starting to put together this timeline like the psycho that I am and recognize that Taylor Swift was just in the mix a lot. She's listed on special thanks to Taylor Swift on the credits of It Ends With Us. We had a lot of question marks about why that was. And again, just her particular flavor and style of I'm the victim and like these horrible men did something to me. And I personally did not feel that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds had the star power to get the New York Times to risk their professional reputation to help take down Justin Baldoni. That's like global star power. That's something Kris Jenner can get done, Taylor Swift can get done, Beyonce can get done. Not Ryan Reynolds, not a Blake Lively for sure. Anyway, so today woke up, Daily Mail, huge article. And I want to tell you something first and foremost before we even discuss this article. Do not let people mistake you into thinking this is just a gossip column, okay? I've hung around some of these A-listers. I used to be friends with Kanye West. I know how this works. And let me tell you something that is well known in Hollywood is that Taylor Swift has plugs, especially at the Daily Mail, when she wants to get a narrative out.
Candace also explained that Taylor was actually the person responsible for orchestrating the New York article that publicly criticized Justin.
To show you that footage, and I'm going to see whether or not you recognize the young man that is saying goodnight to Taylor Swift on November 8th, 2024. Now we're fast forwarding into the timeline. He's saying a sweet goodnight to Taylor Swift just a month before the now infamous Blake Lively filing. Take a look and a listen.
Wait, excuse us.
Taylor, sleep tight.
Taylor, sleep tight. You will recall that I kept saying that someone like Blake Lively, this was my gut instinct, she could not have had the star power to get the New York Times to put their entire professional reputation on the line to smear someone like Justin Baldoni. They are just not in that camp of celebrities. They are not that high up of the celebrity food chain, okay? Blake Lively can get an article dropped in TMZ. Blake Lively can get an article dropped in The Guardian. Blake Lively cannot get Pulitzer Prize winning New York Times journalists to smear someone like Justin Baldoni. That was why I was drawn to Taylor Swift as a character. The person that you just saw saying good night to or sleep tight to Taylor Swift is none other than Ronan Farrow. And yes, someone just dropped it in the chat. People are recognizing that as Ronan Farrow. Now, why is that extremely significant, okay? Because he is the Pulitzer Prize winning Me Too journalist who is credited with having taken down Harvey Weinstein. He is, Ronan Farrow, without question, the father of the Me Too movement, the father of false allegations against men, also credited with taking down Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer, by the way, was innocent. I know that sounds crazy to you guys. I'm not even on the left. I'm telling you, it was insane. Men were losing everything overnight, and it was all because the New York Times wrote these explosive pieces, okay? The sighting of her with Ronan Farrow came as a surprise to her fans. That's why it generated so many headlines and people in fan forums discussing, when did the two of these people become friends? Okay, here's an example, the Daily Mail. Taylor Swift's surprising new friendship with liberal journalist Ronan Farrow revealed. And I'll read you some from that article. It says, Taylor Swift's unlikely friendship with Ronan Farrow is getting the spotlight after they were seen partying it up with famous pals in New York City this weekend. But again, Ronan Farrow, what does he have to do with Blake Lively? What does he have to do with Justin Baldoni? Okay, well, he is arguably the most powerful journalist at the New York Times. You could say this. He's a Nepo baby. He's got deep connections to Hollywood. But the question here that you should be asking yourselves is, if Ronan Farrow was the father of the Me Too movement, who was the mother? Because he wasn't the only one credited with the launch of the movement. He wasn't the only journalist, Nepo baby, who won a Pulitzer Prize for launching it. Take a look at who did. Here they are. The reporters who exposed Harvey Weinstein. In their new book, She Said, the Pulitzer Prize winning reporters Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey take readers inside the investigation that launched a movement. Jodi Kantor and Megan Twohey were the mothers of the Me Too movement, okay? And that woman on the right, Megan Twohey, is indeed the woman who wrote the takedown piece regarding Justin Baldoni, okay? These three people, Ronan Farrow, Jodi Kantor, and Megan Twohey, were the people behind the entire movement that I have been spending so much of my time fighting.
Candace also exposed that Taylor had one of the film's composers fired, and although her track, My Tears Ricochet, appears in the movie, this level of influence was unusually strong for an artist working quietly behind the scenes.
So apparently...
Of Deadpool and going back to the studio at night working on Blake's film. So
In a
it was
week.
a little nutty.
Call that guy who's doing my husband's movie. Maybe he has time. I mean, how do you end up getting a call with we're in that kind of a pinch, unless I kind of guessed correctly?
Yeah, I think probably it was a scenario of a last second replacement.
A last-second replacement of a composer in which someone got kicked out of It Ends With Us, and they pulled over this guy from Deadpool last.
And if you're wondering how Candace concluded that Taylor was actually behind a move, she referenced a Reddit post from an anonymous source who had spilled the tea long before anything unfolded, claiming that Taylor got the composer fired simply because he had been mean to her in the past.
Blake uses a T Swift song in the movie that the studio loves having in there. Again, that fact check's true. We all know that they used a Taylor Swift song, and they did a lot of press about that. Taylor Swift finds out that the original composer for the movie is someone that she worked with in the past that was mean to her. And she says it's either me or it's him. So you can use my song, but you got to get rid of this composer. Sony fires that composer to keep the Taylor Swift.
And well, If there's one situation that Taylor wants to avoid more than anything, it's being dragged into court over an explosive lawsuit, which is exactly why she's distancing herself from Blake. Yet given the growing evidence coming to light, fans don't believe Taylor was innocent in any of this. And then Blake's brother-in-law apologized to Justin when Bart Johnson posted on his X account on January 28, 2025, saying that any time he has said anything unkind about someone, he has regretted it. Fortunately, that's almost never, and definitely not when he's at his best. And regardless of whether it's true, his opinion, or his attempt to speak truth or stand up for someone, it's never good. Even in moments where it might feel justified or like doing the right thing, because it makes no difference. And he added there's a better way, and it's below the standard he has for himself. So he regrets it and sincerely apologizes to anyone he has hurt or let down by saying something that sounds mean, promising he'll do better. And although Barr didn't name Justin directly, most fans assumed he meant him since he previously called Justin a fraud. And now Justin is reportedly preparing to reveal a freak-off tape involving Blake, Ryan, and Taylor. And it turns out Blake meant a lot when she referred to those two as her dragons. And once that freak-off tape becomes public, Taylor and everyone else involved will be finished. Which is why she's taking extra measures like planting fake articles and denying her role in everything. But what do you think? Do you believe Justin really has a freak-off tape in his possession? And was Taylor secretly pulling the strings behind the scenes? And if so, will she end up being called to the stand? So let us know what you think in the comment section below, and be sure to check out the next video.